So the next question is, where and how virtual implant testing is applied specifically in the 3D printing chain? So we talked about automation, and yes, we know that you can 3D print implants, but how does that kind of play for medical device manufacturers and clinicians, and how do you get that to the patient? So it starts with the patient data. So what we do, what the person or the designer would normally do is design the software and the program that they usually use. And that includes the DICOM data from MRI, CT, CBCT scans, and things like that. And you have your surgical planning software, you design that as you normally would. Then that planning software exports STL files. So those STL files are what our software uses, the VIT software uses, and you import those along with the DICOM data as the STL files to run the simulation. And then here you can go ahead and once you apply this load on that simulation, the design gets verified. We use Microsoft Azure Cloud, so you don't need any big hardware, all of that stuff, and all of the computing and things. It's done in the high-powered cloud, and that it comes back to your computer. So no special hardware, just our software and an internet connection. And so you've implanted, you have the implant design, you're ready to go, that you've looked over how everything is deformed, you're happy with the design, then that goes to the medical manufacturer, or if it's in point of care, to your 3D printer, and then that medical implant is 3D printed. You also have the post-processing and the finishing, removing the scaffolding, things like that, and then it ultimately goes into the patient for surgery. And parallel to that, what our software also does is you can generate that report, like I was saying. So it shows that clinical evidence that's relevant, and the physical evidence, and how the software, how you come up with this design, and shows all of that as a kind of starting point, which I'll also touch on for regulatory requirements a little bit later. You can also use those reports, as we know, in your quality management system and with your technical documentation. So just a good way also for clinical studies, for post-market follow-up, things like this, why you designed the way that you designed.